welcome back to Book Club Preview. Today we're looking at The Lost Hero, chapter 5 and 6, and looking at what's been going on in Leo's life in the story. And I'm just going to be honest, Leo is hilarious. There's so many times in these two chapters that I just started laughing. First of all, chapter 5, Leo's taking a tour around camp, and he loves it. He's having a great time looking at weapons and things that can be destroyed and monsters in the forest. And he's like, this is the coolest place I've ever been. He's happy to be at Camp Half-Blood. So he's like, sign me up. I want to stay here. As he's walking around and one of the campers, Will, is showing him around, he thinks about his mom who died. We don't know how or anything yet. But when he thinks about this, he sees this evil aunt that he had when he was really young. He calls her Tia, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Khalidia? I'm not sure. Khalidia. And Tia means aunt in Spanish. So aunt, and then her name is Khalida or Khalida. Maybe Khalida. But he sees her, and she was evil, and she tried to kill Leo. But he sees her, he's like, what? And then Will's like, hey man, you okay? And he's like, who's that crazy lady over there? And Will's like, what crazy lady? What are you talking about? And he's like, you don't see her? Oh, I'm just playing with you. I'm just joking. Tricked ya. So there's something going on here. Leo sees something, and this other camper, Will, does not. But Leo just continues on. They go into Cabin 9. Cabin 9 looks like an RV. That's like a camping car. And it's huge. It's really wide. And it has these doors that like, kind of open up. Leo goes in, and there's weapons and tools and workbenches and the smell of like oil and things. And Leo's like, man, I like this cabin. And as he goes in Cabin 9, he meets the cabin leader. I can't remember his name, but he's in this huge cast. He's like a body cast. He's like, hey, I'd get up and shake your hand, but I'm stuck. And Leo's like, man, it's okay. And they talk a little bit about Cabin 9's curse. They give Leo the bed of Beckendorf. If you read the first series, Beckendorf is one of the heroes in that series. But we learn that Beckendorf died while he was helping Percy blow up a ship of monsters. But Leo gets this bed, and it's like the best bed in the bunk. It's like king size, and Leo jumps in it, and it has these speakers that come out, these lights everywhere, like levers and buttons, and man, this thing looks cool. And then Leo learns that it was the old guy's bed, which that guy died. So Leo's a little bit creeped out. He's sleeping in a dead person's bed, but he still sticks with it. The camp leader guy, or this cabin leader, can't give Leo a tour, and so Will takes Leo down to the forges. And the forges are where all of the other Hephaestus kids are working, tinkering, smithing. I mean, where all the construction stuff is happening. Leo loves it. Again, it reminds him of his mom's workshop. He starts to meet some of his siblings. He can't remember their names. They all look different, but they all look tough. They all are kind of meaty, but they have different ethnicities, different facial features, so it's hard to tell that they're siblings, but they do have kind of this character like Hephaestus. Leo can't remember all their names, but Nicaea decides to show Leo around the forge while Will leaves. And Nicaea seems really nice. Leo makes a joke like, oh yeah, I always wanted to have an older sister that could beat me up because she's like super buff. She's like an action hero, buff girl version. As they're taking a tour, one of the Hephaestus campers is building like this a centaur that is supposed to shoot mosquitoes out of the air. And so he winds it up and lets it go. And when he lets it go, all the other campers or siblings duck down to the ground. Leo doesn't. And so the centaur's like, doo, 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 doo. And he shoots Leo's shirt with a few arrows. And Leo's like, ow, ow. And Nicaea pulls him down. And then one of the campers, they're like swinging a hammer and they crunch the centaur. That scene just cracks me up so much. I don't know why. One of the siblings is like, all I want is a magical bug killer. Why? And yeah, everything that they make now is like junk. When Beckendorf was alive, everything was great. They'd make a bunch of cool stuff. Things worked. But since then, things started going out of control. In case in point, there was this bronze dragon that was built a long time ago. Beckendorf found it. He put it together, and that dragon would listen to him. It's like a metal dragon, like I have the picture in the summary in the beginning and the end. It's like that. But now no one can control this dragon, and all their creativity and construction things are cursed. So they decide that they have to kill this dragon to one, because the dragon just comes into camp sometimes and burns things and runs away, tries to eat satyrs or other creatures and stuff. It's a danger. So they have to take responsibility for it because Beckendorf built it. Leo was like, no way, you can't do that. That's terrible. It's a dragon. Come on, that's so cool. But they're like, look, we've tried everything. It's the only option. Leo doesn't feel too good about it, but he agrees with them. It's time for dinner. So the other campers are leaving, and Leo says, oh, you know what? Let me hang out here for a while. I just need to think. And they're like, okay, we understand. First day is pretty crazy. And Leo starts to think in his mind. And he says, I'm pretty funny because being funny is a really good defense. If there's bullies, being funny, they don't hurt you. I have pain inside of me because a lot of bad things happened. I make jokes about it. It protects me. If plan A doesn't work, then I can run away. And then I'll just run away. If running away doesn't work, then I'll do plan C. I promise never to do plan C again because something really bad happened. But I think now is the time. And Leo has his fingers and he pulls them out, and a fire starts to dance in his palm. And we learn that some children of Hephaestus can actually control fire or have power of fire. But whenever a child of Hephaestus with power like that comes along, it's really dangerous and usually bad things happen. But Leo thinks maybe I can save the dragon with my power or something. We don't know. We'll find out. That leads us to some vocabulary. Moored. Moored is like tied down. So there's these boats, these Greek battleships that are moored. They have ropes tied to a dock to keep them from moving around or floating out into the ocean. Truancy. Truancy is late or not showing up. So Leo is a troubled kid, meaning he's got into trouble with the police. So the police now watch Leo, and Leo has to come and visit them and talk about his life. And if he does something bad, he can maybe go to jail. So he has these regular checkups he has to do, but if he doesn't show up, that's truancy. So Leo's ran away and went to a different state probably, but they found him. When you're late to class, that is also truancy. Okay, it's just being late or not showing up. Catastrophic, it means something very terrible. Okay, like an earthquake. There's a lot of damage. There's a lot of tragedy. People can get hurt, or the world can get hurt. Hurricane is catastrophic. Tornado, catastrophic. A child of Hephaestus that can control fire, catastrophic. And that leaves us with our discussion question. And when Leo goes into cabin 9 and there's all these bunks and Leo gets like the best bunk in the cabin, there's all these secret machines and secret activities and oh man, I don't know. It sounds awesome to me. And I just thought, man, if you had a bedroom and you could design it with cool secrets and machines and man, whatever your heart dreams of, what would you have in your bedroom? Like, let's say you're a Hephaestus camper. You got to design your own bedroom. What cool things would you have in it? And of course, please make your own discussion question. That's all the time that we have for today, but thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. And here is an example of a bronze dragon that I just asked the AE image creator, DALL-E from Bing, to create for me. Took me a few tries, but man, that thing created this. Oh, pretty great. So that's maybe a little bit like what this bronze dragon looks like in our book.